Welcome in, everybody. Shirley and I are excited to see you. This is the Tlingit language class hosted by Tlingit and Haida, lunch sessions. Today is our first class of the term, Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. I got the year wrong on my slide. I'll change it later. So that you have an idea what we'll be doing today, we want to welcome you guys back in. We've spent a month apart. Our last class ended on December 4th, so maybe 6 weeks ago. And now we all get to see each other again. Some of you are going to be new, taking this class with us for the first time today. Some of you are returning students, and I'm happy to see all of you. But we'll introduce ourselves, the instructors, give you an idea of what to expect of this class, kind of how we roll, what kind of things we'll be studying and how. And then we'd like to hear from you guys after that, how your break was. After our discussion, we'll give you an overview of what we plan to teach you for the month of January. And if we have time, we'll jump into our first activity. So it's just a welcome back day. And we want you guys all to know that we appreciate you. We're happy to see your faces. We're going to get to know each other really well over this spring term. And today is just day one. I just want to introduce our co-host and myself. Shakhsani Kikyu Sao Tuskuwu Kagwantan City Daktain Tan Yadiwa Ka Stuka Khatiti Konachaya which in Tlingetu Katangi Stutuwo Khat Ko Anila Toga Yukhatu Sauk Akhpunana Sai Jaman na Khat City Kakonana Yadia Yekhat. So our elder, the one who knows, is Shakhsani Keek. In English, she goes by Shirley Kendall. She's Kagwantan and child of the Daknaintan. My name is Nila Toga. That's my Athabascan name. I'm of German descent on my mother's side, and on my father's side, I'm child of the Konana, or the Athabascan people, the Khoikan Athabascans from Caltech. Shirley, did you want to add anything to our self-introductions?
Uh, uh, all I want to say is my mother of Takwa, Jitkat Kwan City in Kuna Kokehat Uawat. My mother was Chilkat. So I'm Chilkat, and my children are claim to be Chilkat from the Bell House in Haines. But I was born and raised in Huna, where my father was from. And I heard a lot about the Glacier Bay, and spent a lot of time there when I was growing up. So that's my father's people settled in Glacier Bay. So I have a lot of knowledge about the place. So now I'm a big city lady, and I enjoy this class. Gonna teach Hati Adi. Thank you for coming. You're helping you're helping me to help keep the language alive by speaking it.
Okay. What else are going to teach?
Welcome to Sam. Had some time. I've tried to give enough time to run through this exercise.
Thank you. And I wanted to add too that I've been studying Tlingit and I went to school to become a teacher in Juneau. When I came back up to Anchorage, I connected with Shirley Shaksanikik, and she's a gem because she speaks Tlingit and she's a career teacher. So she's been a mentor to me in both learning and teaching Tlingit. Um, we're going to take good care of you guys. These classes will take place at the same time every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 to 1 p.m. Alaska time. And then same Zoom link every class. Our classes are all recorded and put on YouTube at the Clinkit and Haida YouTube channel. So I'll share that link with you guys at the end of class so that if you need to review anything between our classes or over the weekend, or if you miss a class, you can hop on and watch the recordings there. Are there any questions so far before we move on? Awesome. Don't be shy if you get a question, just let us know and we'll pause for you.
Yeah. If you're too bashful, put it on chat.
Yep. And if you put your questions in the chat, I'll read them out loud. Okay. We have a comment in the chat. It says, hello. I'm here with my fourth grade class in North Carolina. Cool. Nice to meet you guys. Awesome. Lots of young learners waving hello to us. Thank you, Kunastish. Satini. Good to see you guys. So a little bit about what to expect of this class. Shakhsani Keek and I always begin with discussion times. They can be open questions about any language questions that you have. They can be sometimes carried over from a previous class if we run over on, or we don't run over on time, but if we have to end and we didn't get to everybody's questions, then we will answer them in the next class. But that's just to let you guys know. So please come with questions if you didn't get them answered. Don't be shy. We'll always open every class with a discussion, question and answer. Learning our language can be, you can have language questions, and sometimes you just want to share how it's going for you, or you meet a relative and you want to mention it, or you find something out. So this is our community space to get to know each other and learn together. Um, Other things you can expect from this class, a lot of stories. Shirley likes to bring in history, cultural knowledge. Sometimes we talk about things from nutrients from traditional foods, nutrition to lessons for our children. So always bringing in cultural discussions, history, and stories to our classes. On my end, I like to bring a lot of repetition and pronunciation practice because English is my first language. So I'm learning Tlingit as not my first language. So I kind of bring that to the table, how to learn if it's your second or third language. So lots of repetition, pronunciation. And then we wanted to mention to please just enjoy our time together and have fun learning with us. This is our space. For a lot of people, it's your lunch hour in the middle of your long work day. We want to make this enjoyable. We'll be learning a lot. We also want to make this enjoyable for everybody. Um, Shirley, did you want to add anything to that?
No, but I'm curious as to what time it is for the students that joined us.
Time is it in North Carolina? Oh yeah, and you guys don't have to be shy. You can unmute your mics and uh chime in anytime.
This is our discussion time. If you have any questions or comments.
So, there's no questions. I'll give you a little overview of what to expect for January. So, today's Tuesday, January 14th. Like I mentioned, today will be mostly welcome back. Um, we're gonna do some brainstorming for our first activity that we'll talk about here in a moment, and work on a cartoon together. We think it would be fun for January for our first few weeks of class to work on a newspaper in Lingit. And we like to break it down into small chunks so that we're building off of what we learn each week and sort of creating something together. So last term was our fall term, and our big project for the whole semester was having organizing an online digital clique or a gathering. And we just broke it down by task. And by the end of the term, we were able to come online and go through the steps of hosting a clique together. It's really fun. For this month, we like to do a newspaper. And to keep things fun and light, we'll start off with a cartoon. And so I was Google image searching Sunday comics during our prep period, and I put one together for our demonstration. I'll let you guys see how we can work together on something like that.
The,
And
the idea of working on the cartoon came from me when I was a little kid before school, or I, my first language was Tlingit, and my dad came in the house, and I was reading a newspaper. Of course, I couldn't read. I was just looking at the cartoons, and he said, "What are you doing?" So I'm reading the paper. And he said, uh, uh, "What does it say?" So I picked up the comics, and then I started to tell him what I thought they were saying to each other in Tlingit. And he just cracked up and laughed. He said, "That's funnier than what it really is." So I thought, hey, that would be fun if we could change the wording of these cartoons and of them talking to each other and make it in Tlingit. So that's where the idea came from.
kids are so funny. Yesterday, I brought my 3-year-old nephew to the pool, and he doesn't read yet, but he talks a lot. And he has this hat, and on the front it says "Cool Kid." And we had just gone down the water slide, so I was like, "Hey, Avi, what's your hat say?" And he took it off and put it underwater, and he's like, "It says I'm going underwater all by myself." I was like, "Oh my gosh," we all laugh. Excuse me. Uh, yeah, we thought that was funny. Yep, so that's what we'll do for our first activity. Um, and then we'll have homework for you guys. If you all go home after class today and find one comic strip that you want to bring in, maybe like 1 to 2 images, then we can work on those together on Thursday. So Thursday will be January 16th. We'll have a discussion about the paper. We'll start be brainstorming for it. talking about what it's called, what we're gonna do, what articles we want to write, and then we'll have breakout rooms possibly for depending on how many people we have, and work on our captions together. So we'll talk more about that. And then potentially Tuesday, the 21st, we might share a Kagwantan song with you all. Um, Shirley and I need to locate one. But Shirley, did you want to say anything about that?
They, these songs are called love songs because it's actually a song about your children. So it's to honor the children. We went through one song for the Raven side, the Duck Day Dawn. It's a beautiful song, uh, and very funny. So um, and that's what these songs are meant to be, just kind of uh, uh, like if you want to hum and sing to your child or grandchild, uh, that's you can come up with something like that. So that's what these songs are, to honor the children. So in a community, when the song is sung, the children of the Kagwantan would stand up and dance. So uh, and that's what uh, is used at the parties, and that's a lot of fun to have these songs. So I wanted you to understand the why these songs are called love songs, and it doesn't have the same sense that the songs of today have, because it's meant for children and grandchildren.
Sheesh. We have some offers in the chat already. Um, our student Elk mentioned if you need help finding a song, they have a Kagwantan booklet and others. And another student said, I can share a Kagwantan love song. It was composed from the group Nichku. It was composed from their last words before he passed. Dana waqt ishayu.
Mhm. I didn't
If
know
anybody,
I didn't know about that. Uh, there was a booklet that's kind of fun to look into stuff like that.
I haven't heard of it either. Um, Alk, did you want to say anything about the booklet?
Uh, so I am Kagwantan by adoption. Agnes Bellinger adopted me and my mother. Um, so my first sister, Yakdushi, gathered all the Kagwantan songs she could with Robbie Whittlefield and created a booklet and sent it to me.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks for mentioning it.
Thank you. Very cool. Nietzsche Ku'u is Austin Hammond's father. Thank you for translating in the chat. I put my email in the chat, and if anybody ever has materials you want to share or you'd like us to share, you can always email them to me, and then Shirley and I will build it into our lesson planning during our prep periods. Any other comments before we move on? Cool. So our newspaper activity that we've been talking about, we today will brainstorm some of the big picture things. For example, what would the newspaper be called if we had a newspaper all in Shinget? Um, what kind of jobs would we assign to people who has editing or experience or wants to practice being our editor? Who will do the translations? What types of articles would we include? And would anybody like to sign up to write them? So, um, classifieds, headlines, weather. We'd like you guys to think about things that you either know how to say in Shinge or would like to learn to take that on, and we can start building in time in our classes to work on these projects together.
The
Mhm.
cartoon will be required.
Yeah, the cartoon will be required. Any ideas right off the bat? Has anyone been dying to start a newspaper and you always wanted to call it something? I used to work on tugboats, and I think there was like a secret newspaper that would go around that kind of had like comical satire about our company. And I think they called it the Undercurrent. It was kind of like an underground newspaper. We just had an idea in the chat. Somebody said they would call it the Raven's Call. I think that's pretty good.
My dad told me a story about a long time ago when he was, I don't know, it might have been in the 70s, that there was a secret paper in town called, I think it was called the Raven Talks or something like that. And his ex-wife and two of their friends wrote it, but no one in town knew who wrote it. And it was like this gossip paper. And even the cops were involved trying to find out who was writing this paper. But he said we have to go through his paperwork, and he has an old copy somewhere. But they were really trying to look at the handwriting, and it was like where the Raven talks or the Raven speaks or something like that.
That's awesome.
Uh, I didn't know there was somebody did that.
It was in Craig on Prince of Wales Island, like in the
Uh,
70s or.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. It's like a modern day
Oh,
Bridgerton.
yeah, it was. And they even found the typewriter that it was being written on. The police, the police did.
Did they dust for fingerprints?
They could, they found the typewriter, but could never figure out who wrote it.
Awesome.
That's amazing. I couldn't find out.
Especially in a small town, huh?
Yeah, really. Can you imagine being in the police office, like getting assigned to that job? Well, it sounds like somebody in the chat wants to revive that paper. I love the Raven's Call and the Raven Talks.
I'll ask him. They had a slogan too. It was like the name of the paper, and then it was like this phrase that, and we speak, or it said something like, there was like a sentence, but I'll find out and share it with you next class.
Cool. Okay. Goodness, geez. I was on Canoe Journey a couple years ago, and somebody said we should make a paper, and they assigned the secret writer, the author, a name like Lady Eagle Feather or something after the Bridgerton character Lady Whistledown.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. So articles sounds like we definitely need a gossip column. All fun and games. We will be respectful. What other kind of articles would we include in our paper?
Yeah, so the police wouldn't have to investigate us.
Yeah. Our cover will be a little blown because we're going to be working on it in this class, so it should be uploaded to YouTube. So,
Yeah.
Maybe news and information on like upcoming language classes or language learning opportunities.
that's a good idea. Yeah, I found a bunch when I was on the Alaska Heritage Institute website the other day. Scholarships, and a lot of my students ask about scholarships since I was able to take advantage of a full scholarship with Alaska Heritage Institute and University of Alaska. Oh yeah, we definitely need. Okay, somebody said we need a missed connections. You
I
guys know
think
what missed connections?
Like an
Uh-huh.
aunties section, you know how like your aunties are always giving you unsolicited advice or they need to know everything. Like lately this week, especially my aunties have been calling and texting me saying they can't read posts online, they're too small, and they need me to text them everything that's going on or what I'm doing to update them.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna come over, like
Yeah.
maybe a news or
Yeah.
Definitely a style section when it comes to like earrings and like
Ooh.
now that I hear Heather's voice, like different seal skin um
Yeah.
projects and stuff. So that would
Ooh.
be fun.
Yeah. Keep us updated on the next fashion show. I love when there's native fashion shows.
Yeah. There's gonna be an earring show in Juneau that looks so fun. It's like all
Ooh.
earrings. Yeah,
Ooh.
that kind of thing would be fun for the newspaper.
Yeah. Oh man, we're getting lots of good ideas in the chat. Okay, missed connections. That's like when you meet someone at a coffee shop and you like exchange eyes, but then you didn't introduce each other, and then you think about it when you get home, and then you write them like a love letter. I've never done this, I'm just saying. And I don't read them,
Uh,
but maybe sometimes I read them. Missed connections. Oh, Tauk says they need an advice column or horoscope. I love that. Um, oh, here's another title idea. Somebody said, "Kayu katang kuach." What would that be in English? Um,
uh, William Paul had a paper
uh,
during the time when he was really popular and quite knowledgeable about the news for the state. He called it Neek News.
oh, oh,
Yeah. And the copies of those papers still exist. I don't know if the historic uh, the library might still have them. But he didn't write it in Tlingit. Just the title of it was in Tlingit.
oh. I remember reading about that paper. I've never seen a copy. I'd love to see one. Okay, I'm adding that to our title ideas. And then other articles people mentioned in the chat, clan events, sports events, Tlingit and Haida announcements, weather forecast, international indigenous news for indigenous rights. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna write these down. Cool. And then it says, can there be a word search in the newspaper with Tlingit vocab? Yes.
or word of the day or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I think they have generators online for free where you can type in the words and it'll make a word search for you too, or a crossword puzzle.
We
Oh,
don't
yes.
expect it to be a huge paper. So you need to start thinking of being very selective.
Sounds good. I'll put all these ideas down and then maybe in our next class after we've been thinking about it, we can pick out a few that we want to start with.
Ooh, a recipe would be good too
Oh, yeah.
for traditional foods.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Well, herring eggs, of course, but I don't know if there's like
Yeah.
feel like that's subjective the way that people like it. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, it would be fun for us to look up like there's specific words for cooking something where you just dip it in hot water.
Yeah,
We could study those.
would be nice.
Yeah, if you had a advertisement about a cooked item, that would be kind of fun. Or a cooked food or something.
Uh, like in the classifieds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. And then we also have really short stories, poetry, photography. This is fun. You guys are a fun group. Indigenous businesses on where to get materials for regalia and promote their business. So we'll do get shops and businesses, regalia material. A trade page where people can say what they have up for trade. And healing circle opportunities. These are all awesome. Tribal citizens, shareholder birthdays, jokes. Yeah, this will be a fun paper. Wouldn't that be funny if it just totally took off and then we like had to hire a full staff?
That's what I was thinking. We're onto something here.
Yeah.
We got the Raven talks. They're still around here.
Yeah.
They could become official employees of the Raven talks or whatever our title is.
Yeah. The Ravens call, the Raven talks, Kayuchatunkuach, which Ezra translated in the chat, someone's words are heard. And then Neek news. Has anyone here worked like for a paper before as an editor or photographer or anything like that, writer? Me neither.
I worked at several newspapers and went to school for journalism.
Oh, what was your job at the papers where you worked?
I worked at a daily and a bi-weekly as a reporter, and then worked at a weekly as an editor.
Cool.
Oh, there could be an advice column,
A what
like
column?
a question and answer, like where you have advice where somebody asks a question and then like an expert answers.
Yeah. So we could have one that's requested advice and then one that's like the anti-column unsolicited advice.
That would be the best one. Like the bad
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
It would be really good. Like the good um advice and then the bad advice that's good.
Yeah.
That's such a good one, an anti-advice column.
Yeah. I think that was Heather's idea.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
gonna sign myself up for that job.
That would be good.
I'm just gonna pencil in Kaji's Akla into editor and then just so we know that she's a resource. Translations. We'll probably all work on translations together. We'll have a reporter. Yeah. Photographer. Any photographers here?
I have thousands of photos of
Ooh,
traditional foods and everything. So I
cool.
could sign up for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw Ezra. Mine are phone photos, but the best camera is the one you have in your hand. So phone photos work.
Yeah, definitely. Now I'm seeing in the chat we have quite a few journalists and reporters here. That's awesome. Now you. Now let's see.
I make drawings, so I can always draw cartoon.
Ooh, Illustrator.
I love that, the drawings idea. I just came across a guide. It was a subsistence guide for third and fourth graders. A tribe up north created it, and the third and fourth graders did the illustrations, and they were so special. Just like their
Mm.
interpretation of traditional foods and their homes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
You learn so much by drawing something and how like the tender parts of things. It's really great. And it's funny too to other people,
yeah.
usually.
I just received a booklet from Tlingit Haida called Tlingit Food Cookbook. I haven't had anybody that could look through it yet, though.
I think I have that book and it has a CD. So you can like hear things. I don't have a CD player anymore, but maybe I can send that over.
Uh,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we can use it for our recipe column. We talk a lot about food in this class. I don't see him today, but we have a professional chef in this group. Every time he talks about his meals, everybody gets hungry and we have to go eat. Love it.
he comes back.
I hope he comes back too. I was just scrolling through all the screens to see if I see him, but not yet. So we have this whole brainstorming done for the paper, which is awesome because now Shirley and I can kind of section it into chunks for our future classes.
Did
Any
somebody,
other?
is there like
Go
a
ahead.
history section? Or sorry if I missed it.
No, nobody mentioned that
But
yet.
I know a lot of like today stuff, but something I really value learning is like, the things that Shirley would share: history, place names, our names. I don't know what my Tlingit name means, but some of it's so old it can't be translated, but would love to learn more about that. Yeah,
Me too.
Nikki said elders spotlight.
Oh, cool. Me too. We get a lot of that from Shirley. It's awesome.
Sometimes it takes a lot of work. People try to write it in what they think it sounds like. So then you have to decipher that. And sometimes it turns out to be an old name that I know.
Yeah, my dad is Wayne. Our family's from Angoon, but my name's Kutink. I'm named after Irene Pradovich from Klawak, and I always asked her what our name meant, but she would always say, like, brush me away. And I don't know if she even knew, but I think there's a lot of value in learning, obviously learning what we can from our elders, but I always am mindful too that in our culture, our elders have really big responsibilities to pass this knowledge on, and it can be also tiring for them. Um, Whereas in other cultures, elders, retire and go to Florida. Our elders really do a lot of hard work in making sure we're sovereign and self-reliant and have all the tools we need. So appreciate you, Shirley.
Yeah, sheesh. Yeah, it's very difficult sometimes, like somebody from another area, but the words are still Lingit. So sometimes it can be worked out. Uh, and sometimes you absolutely cannot figure it out. But we have a good source of the dictionaries and also uh, Lance Twitchell's uh, website, cricketlanguage.com.
Yeah, let me show those to you guys on the screen really quick. The website that Shirley just mentioned, linkitlanguage.com. I'll put this link in the chat. If you haven't seen it yet, I've been an active user of this website since I started learning Tlingit in 2017. And it's just a wealth of resources from a lot of different people's hard work. Um,
And he has booklets that he wrote for beginners.
yeah, booklets for beginners. If you go and click at language.com, first place I recommend going is this tab that I have on my screen that says resources. And this is where you can get all your materials. If you're not able to purchase books, you can get them available for free here. As long as you have an internet connection, you can download them. So one of the resources that I'll show you that I use a lot is this dictionary. If you click it and scroll down, you can select this PDF, which just means that you click the link and then you want to be able to access it from your computer, even when you don't have internet. You have to push this button. It's this downward pointing arrow pointing down to this little box and it says download. And if you select it, it'll download to your computer and then you can open it up using your Adobe, like if you have Adobe. But I'm going to share my whole screen so you can see how I look at these. Um, Adobe Acrobat is what I use. But if you open up your download in this little icon, that downward pointing arrow, you can find it there. I already have it downloaded, so I would just open Adobe and I look at these materials a lot, so they're still open for me, but one of them is the dictionary. Um, double click it. I'm gonna make this large so it'll be easy to see, but I won't dive too deep in the dictionary right now, but just to give you an overview, you can zoom in. You can see everybody who contributed to the dictionary, all their names here. If you go on the right-hand side of the screen, and we'll be doing this together a lot in class, so don't feel like you have to memorize everything I'm saying right now. You can open it up based on the Tlingit to English side or the English to Tlingit side. And there'll be entries for a lot of the words that we're going to use in this class. So it's just a brief introduction since Shirley mentioned the resources. Any questions about that? Let's go back into our page. And we still have 10 minutes, Shirley. So should I show them the cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at this. Thank you guys for all your ideas. I'm so happy that we have a nice big group of ideas and active, engaged people, and we can narrow it down into achievable steps in our future classes. So, like we said for the cartoon, just check out the Sunday paper if you have one. I don't have a printed copy, so I just went on Google and took one from the internet for our demonstration today. But ideally, we would keep them pretty simple when you pick yours, maybe 1 to 2 images. And then if you all can bring a comic that you find to class on Thursday, you can email it to me and I'll put it up on the screen for us, or you can just have it on your computer. We'll host you and get you ready on Thursday so that everybody can work on their cartoons. But one place that I recommend looking for translations or phrases is the phrase book called Lingit Class. That means say it and sing it. And I'll show you guys what that resource looks like as well.
Yeah.
Um, the one that I put here, Shirley, did you want to add anything?
Yeah. The the booklet used to be sold by See Alaska, but not anymore. So you have to go to Amazon to find it, to download it if you don't have it. But you can use it on, does Rene have it on his website?
He does, yeah. And I'll show them now on the screen. Make sure I'm still screen sharing. Yep. On this page, again, under resources, if you go past the dictionary to beginning materials, the second link, and select it, you can scroll down and there are a lot of materials on here The phrase book is a little, maybe part way down. Right here, here's the title, Lingit Class. To make it a little easier for people to access that are just seeing this page for the first time, I'll put this page in the chat as well. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, and I'll actually just put it in the chat. So you guys can even actually just click the link that I'll put in the chat. It's already downloaded, so it'll download to your computer. Okay. So let's check out what it looks like. If you're downloading it on the computer, I'll show you how it looks. And I usually just keep all of these resources open on my computer, but if you don't have them open, take a look. This is the resource, and it was edited by Richard Downhauer and Nora Marks Downhauer, published by Sealaska Heritage Institute. And in the digital copy, it also has the same bookmarks tab on the right-hand side. You can scroll through each page, see the table of contents, which is pretty fun because there are a lot of topics and they're all organized by, I guess you'll call it, type of conversation. There's greetings and departures, commands, compliments. This one I look at a lot, months, seasons, and days, and time references, feelings, health and medical, kinship. Um, we were talking about for our newspaper having a column for reporting the news, and there's actually a section in Lingit Class called, zoom out because it wants to get away from me, but it's called reporting news or giving messages. And so we can check them out. But the way I would use this resource for the cartoon is first take a look at the cartoon that we have. So I'm gonna open it up and show you guys. And the one that I picked for our demonstration today is from, what's the comic called, Shirley? Blondie and
Dagwood.
Dagwood. This is Blondie and this is Dagwood. And I'm not going to show you what the words are. I put these conversation bubbles over the top so that we can type them in. We'll probably do this next class since we're getting low on time, but at least want to give you guys time to think about it.
They were
But
they were a couple.
yeah, there are a couple. Do you have more information about their characters? Stuff that went on in their house, I guess, is basically like the comic. I can't remember if he was military. But anyway, I put these comic bubbles over the top of theirs. The first picture, Blondie and Dagwood are in the kitchen. Dagwood's holding this tall sandwich. And so when we come back together on Thursday, we'll like think of something they're gonna say. But maybe I would go to the eating and talking about food section since they're in the kitchen holding food. And then the next one, Dagwood is looking at his sandwich and he said something, and there's little lines coming off the sandwich, like making it look amazing. And then this is the third and final picture. He's in the sofa reading the paper, and she says something to him. So we get to come up with what they say. And on Thursday, when we come back together, um, maybe what we'll do is jump to the section on cooking, eating, and talking about food. So page 31. If you jump to that section in the bookmarks, it's right here. You can just click it. It makes it easy. And then there are all these phrases. The reason I like using this for the phrase book for an activity like this is that the sentences already make sense because they came from elders who supply them, who know Shinget, and they were able to translate for them. This would be better than trying to like piece words together using the dictionary because you might get the grammar wrong or use, things out of context. But this is a great place to start. We're about out of time. Some people have to go and go back to work, but so I'm gonna end there. And Shirley, did you want to close with anything?
No, I don't think so.
Sounds good. I'm gonna stop sharing and just let you guys know that are there any questions before we let you guys go for the day?
I want to say welcome to any new people that we have. Gonna cheesh.
Okay. Buenas noches, Haki Adi. Thank you guys for coming. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you here on Thursday with your comics, same time and same Zoom link. Have a good day.
Gonna sheesh, see ya, Quasatine. It's good to see you again.
Ah.